everybody to season 2 of whatever this is. The Team Loser charade. Yeah, so we're just going to be introducing characters and figuring out who knows who and why, and any special things we know about your characters. For instance, since Travis isn't here, I'll do his first because I doubt anybody read his backstory.
A
But
little. I
um,
opened it.
yeah, that's half the battle right there. So
I read it. Whole
I didn't
backstory.
have time.
So Travis's character is Sir Thalion. He works at Gareth's Fire Forges as a blacksmith apprentice. He's very fresh to Lovoxith. He had come from across the wasteland as a refugee of fighting against the Iron Fang clan, which is a tribe of goblins. He himself is a goblin. He, after being involved with his tribe for so long, he began to detest their way of life and try to go against them. And they beat the crap out of him and left him for dead. And during his exile, he was saved by Sir Sir Lawton. Very, yeah, a very noble and renowned paladin, who is a paladin of Serenay, who's got a moral compass unlike any others. Through their adventures, Sir Lawton, I believe, fell and passed on his teachings and religious foresight to Sir Thalion. I'm going to say Thalion every time. It's going to mess me up. So that's basically Travis's backstory. Is he's got a blood vendetta against this Iron Fang clan, but he's got a strong moral compass, and he's a blacksmith in town. So that is Travis's character. Who would like to go now? We'll just start at the top. We're going to start with. As soon as I can open up the Discord because I move where it is, we're going to start with Death's character.
Oh. Okay. Give me a second. Beep. Put it in this thing. So my character is Chev Chelios. I am a sliff by birth. I'm a tall, strapping lad, just entering into adulthood at the ripe old age of 16. Me and my cousin Lokar spent our entire lives running through our village and into the woods, doing play fights in preparation for becoming adventurers. Things did not go well towards our time of moving forward in life, and that's all in my backstory, which I'm not going to recount right now. It's too much.
That's the whole point of this.
Right.
Well, you want me to read the fucking backstory?
Well, I mean, the whole point is to give people an idea of who your character is, so that way they can tell if they want to know the dude or not.
I'll read the fucking backstory out loud. I'm not. I got it right here.
This accounts for mine and Death's character, by the way.
That is true. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Basket's just like ditto, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm the kid in the group of the class project that does nothing but still gets credit.
Yeah. I'm the kid who does the work because it needs to be done.
Just yelling out twinsies.
Yeah, just yelling out twinsies.
Yeah, that's my character.
The backstory of me and Lokar is entitled "The Tragedy of Lokar and Chev." Lokar and Chev are cousins who have spent their youth training to become adventurers. They often spent their free time in the local woods having mock battles and trying to hone their skills. As they celebrated their respective 16th birthdays and entered into adulthood, they began making plans to travel to the big city and become proper adventurers. They had been saving to be able to buy some starter gear and planned their last mock battle to test their progress. Their last mock battle had a ferocious ending, resulting in a tie. The battle lasted until the evening, And as they started to head home, as the sun began to set, tired but excited for the future. As they broke the tree line and looked towards their village, they immediately realized that there was far too much smoke. They looked at each other for a moment and without a word broke into a full sprint towards home. When they arrived back into town, they met a grisly sight. It was clear from the damage that there was a fight. Buildings burned, billowing smoke into the sunset. All around were pieces of the townsfolk ripped to shreds. Blood splashed across the scene. Steeling themselves, they headed for their homes on the far side of town. As they reached the town square, they saw a sight that stopped them dead in their tracks. There was the head of a large wolf-like creature. The boys realized at nearly the same time that this head belonged to a Barghest, a wolf-like creature often found in the company of goblins. Their training told them that this was a very dangerous enemy. With wooden swords in hand, they ran for their homes, each boy fearing the worst. As they reached their homes, Lokar was met with the mutilated bodies of his family. Shev was frozen in the road, staring at the inferno that had overtaken his home. The final hope faded from his eyes as he watched his father's body being consumed by the hungry flames. Sunrise found the boys digging graves for their family and the people of the town. The sun would be setting as they finished their harrowing task, their insides as burned out as the buildings of their hometown. They found a large shed that had been spared from the flames and took shelter there for the night. The next morning saw them taking whatever supplies they could salvage and heading for the big city, leaving their youth behind them, buried with their families and the townsfolk. So, we're trudging, the desperate trudge, to Lovoxith City.
And what are you guys doing while you're in the city? Have you been there for a while, or you just got there?
We're just getting there. We're not even there yet. I mean, we're going right now. So, like, when the game starts, we'll have just walked into town.
I don't see any problems with that. All right. Thank you. That's a good. I enjoyed the read when I had it.
Yeah.
You did a great job on it.
I've been trying to go ham on the backstories lately, so.
My contribution was cousins.
Good job,
Well,
Basket.
Good job, Basket.
So like Travis, you completely missed the mark of you have to know everybody in town or at least one person. But that's fine. Technically, I guess you did. You do know
I
one
know
person in
one
town.
person.
Yeah, you do. You both know one person. That'll be fine.
You
All right.
hit the mark right on the head.
No, it's fine. We'll just go down the flames right out of the gate. Ace, go ahead and introduce your character.
Sure.
We
So
wouldn't have it the other way.
my character is Barlamir the Silver. So Barlamir is an old, like late 60s, around like 67 or so, half elf who has had a long but mundane life. He grew up working with his human father in a silver mine until it was ransacked by orcs. His mother was killed when the orcs attacked the village, and his father kind of ended up drinking himself to death. So Barlamir traveled from town to town, doing different odd jobs, and basically just kind of living as a vagrant on the streets most of his life, until eventually ending up in Lovoxith city. I didn't really put a timeline as far as 5-10 years, but it's been quite a while. He was sleeping in an alleyway behind a church during a winter when a priest came out and encouraged him to come in. He found them to be very generous and hospitable, and eventually dedicated himself to their religion. And I put Sarenrae as the deity.
Good choice.
He didn't have much in the way of possessions, but he was happy to fully devote what remained of his life to their religion. He has felt motivated to help and heal others as they kind of go out into the town and helping others. But so far, he has not manifested any magical powers from doing so, and can only help with kind of his clumsy body.
Okay. Is there anybody special in town that you would have, or is it just you by yourself?
Well, I mean, I'm guessing whoever is familiar with the church. It sounds like possibly Travis might be, since his mentor is a paladin of the same deity, right?
He, I think, said he is going with. He did text me because he wanted to go with. Huh? He said he was going to... I said he should go for Thalon as his god, but I don't think he picked yet. So he's either going with Thalon, Kildrick, or Sarenrae. But
Okay.
yeah.
By the way, so not quite sure yet, but I would be familiar with obviously other worshippers of Sarenrae, as well as probably people maybe that are also homeless, or as he goes out and tries to help those that are less fortunate, or maybe need some healing. So I'll listen to the rest of the group here.
That's fine. Okay. I'm just writing down notes for myself as well. All right. Which will bring up baskets done. So Siobhan.
No, I want Basket to do deaths all over
do
again.
the whole thing, Basket.
All right.
Basket.
Give me a second.
We're cousins.
Send him a copy too.
Cousins, our families are dead. We're coming to Lova.
His daddy, my mama, brother, and sister. All right, and they fell in love with some humans.
All right, Siobhan.
All right. I'm Takiri Silma. I live in mountain. I like rocks. I am rock. I don't go to town unless have to. Too many people. I worship my god, Ari. But we use different pronunciation. We call him Ahira. We make small statues out of clay to look like him, but they're not very good, 'cause not artist. Am rock. We also kind of worship Grimesh, 'cause he likes rocks. And I am rock. I don't go to school. I don't read. Books are for stupid people. I like rocks. I'm looking for my perfect soulmate at the young age of 75. I'm now ready to to
You made it worse. Yeah.
I'm ready to settle down and sow wild oats. Yes, with rocks.
Sowing wild oats, the
With
exact
rocks.
opposite of settling down.
Well,
I am rock.
but I was wild in younger years. In my 60s, oh boy.
I can tell you
When Takiri's a rockin', don't come a knocking.
Yes. If you hear two large stones, don't knock. Actually, you probably better knock. Yes.
Oh my god.
I go visit Blacksmith. He uses rocks.
Well,
I like rocks.
so the only place you could have come from, if you're looking at the town map, is called Goldove. It's
Yes.
yes. So that is, and everybody would
That
know
is
this.
my mountain.
So
It
that
has rocks.
is a mine that is owned by the town Renbani. And what's special about this town is, and would be Dustin's character's big thing, is it's rich in Vistonium. It is an ore that is saturated in magical properties. That's also a major source of iron and adamantium. But for whatever reason, the ore in this mountain holds wild magic properties. So sometimes you never know what you're getting when you use it and make stuff with it. But go ahead.
Oh, can that be part of my class thing? Because I want to be a druid, so can I have just like I've been so close to all of this like special ore that it's kind of imbued my rockiness with its rockiness and made me magical?
Sure.
That would be cool. Okay.
All right.
I like rots.
Yep. That is a essential spot. All right. Who's next? That will bring up Chaos.
I'm going to be playing Mira Wildu. She is all of 2.5 feet tall, weighing a whopping 30 pounds. And she is a fiery redheaded halfling. She's lived in the city her whole life. Her mother's a seamstress. Her dad collects garbage. They're not very fancy people. Words. Her greatest claim to fame right now is the epic prank that Scarlet and her pulled off with the stink bombs. Because Mira loves playing with chemicals and seeing what she can cook up. When she's not busy catching rats and, distributing things for her family's business. That's about Mira in a nutshell.
So explain the stink bomb thing, or do you want Lauren? Do you guys have that written down?
I wrote it down.
It's written down.
I wrote it down in the RP, but I mean, I can elaborate on my turn.
That's fine. That way everybody knows what you two do.
You got it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, short and sweet, Chaos. Appreciate it. I'm glad you didn't put too much thought into it, like Basket did.
I mean, there's some more stuff, but that's it.
Kai's new to this. No matter what you do, I'll just shit on you and compare you to your betters. Kai, go ahead.
Oh,
I said Kai, not Tom.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, if Tom really wants to go that bad, I don't want to.
That doesn't matter to me. Go Kai.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna be Theodore or Theo Gloom Reaper. He and his dad moved to somewhere in town. I don't know where exactly, but they moved from like the middle of nowhere. But it was like 17 years ago or something. And so he doesn't know who his mom is. But so him and his dad have been living together for like ever. And so he spends a lot of time in like coffee shops and stuff, just kind of like writing stuff on paper he's got. That's pretty much all I've got at the moment.
You did better than Chaos. Good. I got it down. So you don't know who your mom is. Do you know if your mom is alive?
He assumes so because of his some of the stuff his dad's been saying, but he doesn't know for sure.
Okay.
Because they don't know where his mom is.
Okay. You guys rich, poor?
Not rich, but not like super poor. Just kind of like getting by.
Just average poor?
Yeah, average poor.
The average poor.
All right, let's bring up Nate.
Oh. All right. On this a little bit, so we'll see what happens. All right. So my character is a human young man wishing to venture himself into the unknown lands of fantasy. Oh.
Your mic broke up, bud, right after Unknown Lands.
Let me see if I can change something here real quick. So you could go on.
Already died.
Yes, my character already died. You can move on to someone else until I fix this.
All right, that's fine. Tom.
Okay. My character's name is Owen Goodhope. He was born. He's 19 years old, and on the night that he was born, a comet came through the sky and lit up the night like it was daytime. His mom went into labor.
I was so sorry.
And he was born. And he was born with a star-shaped birthmark on his left cheek. and he has bright crystal blue eyes. He was everyone in town heard word of it, so he's kind of known throughout the entire city. Um, Everyone said that it was good luck that he was born under this comet that soared through the sky. Um, so he grew up very, very well known, and his father is a um, blacksmith, and his mother is a teacher. Um, so if you're young, he probably went to school with you at some point, or his mom may have taught you, and his dad may have made your horse's shoes or whatever. Um, he's a relatively chipper, happy person. Um, but once he hit his teens, um, he people started thinking that he was odd, because would have migraines all the time, and he would talk to himself, and um, otherwise just odd. But all in all, a likable, lovable, always helping somebody kind of person. Um, he has visited and spent a lot of time with every religion that's in the city, and even seeks out religions that aren't in the city. Um, and he's like I said, he's like a little minor celebrity, so probably everybody would know him.
I have a question. Is that birthmark on your face or your face
Yes.
cheek or your butt cheek? Okay.
On my face cheek.
Making sure which left cheek it was.
It's good you
Yes.
did.
Yeah,
'cause
I was.
I definitely wrote ass cheek. I'm sorry.
Okay.
God damn it! I gotta write that off now.
Going around
At
mooning
this point,
people.
I feel like you should just change it, Tom, because it'll be more fun.
More fun.
How would people know?
Hold on. Did you see my birthmark?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Drop
Maybe
a
he
trowel
has
for
one
everybody.
on both. Maybe that's his big secret. He has one on both cheeks.
He
both
doesn't
left
know.
cheeks.
He's never seen his own ass. So.
There we go.
He has people to look at that for him. Did you fix your mic, Nate?
Yeah. Is it
I
still
see
okay
what
now?
you did. Yeah, you're using your PlayStation mic?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Understood. All right. So, Lucian is a human young man wishing to venture himself into the unknown lands of fantasy and reality. One who hails to inspiration and creativity of the finest art wistfully sets sail to most sought-after relations of their century's time. Literature. Lucian is a 19-year-old boy who lives with his adopted parents, Kane and Philgree, and is in preparation to live out on his own within the great city of Lovoxith. At the very young age of 2, Lucian has lost his parents in a house fire and was soon put in an orphanage. This was later when Philgree, a gnome folk housemaid, decided to convince her husband Kane to adopt Lucian, for they could not bear their own children. Lucian never fathomed the thought of looking into his past, as he didn't much remember it, nor had he found any compelling reason to start. Lucian just knows that he himself is far too tall to be a gnome, or a halfling at that. Other than those obvious traits, Lucian found himself mostly at home with his craft, art and writing. Lucian still deeply holds his adopted parents as his real parents, for they raised him, clothed him, and trained him within their own jobs and hobbies. They even named him after Philgree's late elder grandmother, Lucille Beatrice Flora Twig Stonefetcher. Even though Lucian isn't quite fond of his middle name, Beatrice, he holds it as a foundational stone. Lucian takes care of himself well. He is lean and active, dresses formally for every occasion, and exercises himself to respect others' thoughts and ambitions. And he does like to debate and converse through such, testing their conviction. He is, by surface level, outgoing and prides himself on being inspirational to others. Although he performs well to cater to others, he falls short on his own goals. He absolves it to not having enough time, or to other things with greater priority must be met, an all too familiar excuse. Lucian has nothing but terrible nightmares, Not once has he had a luxury of a fantastical world or a goofy abstract of an absurdity fall upon his sleeping mind. Perhaps this is a link to his past trauma that he has yet to come to terms with, or perhaps something even darker. So yeah, that's Lucian Beatrice Flora Twig Stonefetcher.
I love the last name. Absolutely. I'm get so tired of saying it.
And believe me, I literally thought of every interaction he has with people that he would like say his full name, but every time they're like, Flora, what? And he's like, Flora Twig Stonefetcher, and they're just like, can you say that again? Like, what is it? Like, he's obviously into this idea of trying to make a name for himself, but yet carry that name so greatly and profound to him. And I feel like it's got to run into a lot of heads where they're just like, can you shorten it to something? Like, can we just call you like Twig? It's like,
Yeah, look, we just did.
So I think it would be really interesting.
I like it. I appreciate it.
So I would say character-wise, because I heard there was someone talking about potentially working in a library or writing, I would hope maybe in his midst of getting into the Voxus that he would probably get in touches with them to make sure who they work along with. Maybe they would help him get to where he needs to be, make a name for himself in the Voxus. But I think that's up to everyone else.
Like it.
Friends.
Which will bring up Lauren.
Hey, give me 1 second to pull it up. So my character's Scarlett Landis. She's 19 years old and she was born in Lovoxith. Her father, Hugo, is the overseer of operations for the town guard. He works basically dawn to dusk. My older brother, Asher, who is 25, runs our family store. Our mother's family had opened it here. It's a general wares store, but it also has things such as common potions, fancy soaps, and perfumes that were imported from other towns. And her brother has refused several offers from wealthier townspeople wanting to purchase it, especially when our mother passed away 9 years ago. The shop is located in a prime position, and it does very well. Not to mention our father has a nice salary that's paid for him for all of his hard work. No, Asher would never let our family store go. It was the last piece of our mother, and my brother would rather die than give it to anybody else. I used to help, or sometimes help in the store, mainly when I'm forced to. I used to enjoy my time there. I have lots of fond memories of my mother being as happy as a clam while she was working. She used to let me sit behind the counter and greet patrons, and she would sing and hum while she was stocking shelves and tell me stories while I helped her sweep up at night. Yes, working there used to be my favorite thing, but after she died, I never wanted to leave, especially after she died, I never wanted to leave the store. My father had to wait for me to fall asleep, and he would carry me home for months after. I swore I could still hear her voice whenever I was in there. As time went on, I couldn't stand being in there. I hated being reminded daily that my mother was no longer with us. My father used to only work the hours that my mother did, so we would all be together as a family in the mornings and the evenings, but once she died, he buried himself in his work, taking on whatever was asked of him by his superiors. My father had always been a strict rule follower, but he was also very kind and fun. He would tell ridiculous jokes, and my mom would laugh no matter how terrible they were. And now I've learned quickly that the only way to get my father's attention is to cause trouble in his precious town. I soon became the town troublemaker and would do ridiculous things. Anything that was happening in town could almost always be traced back to me. Random wheels falling off fully stocked baked goods, probably me. People's livestock being let loose and run through the town. Tricks being played on guards. A terribly timed stink bomb in the wealthy side of the town's courtyards. That one got me a lot of his attention. See, embarrassing him as a man, his position doesn't sit well with him. If he can't even control his own daughter, how's he supposed to control the town? It came to a point where he put my older brother Asher on a daily charge of me, but that wasn't going to fly with me. Asher takes that job a little too seriously. Go figure, an older brother with a god complex. Anyway, I'm often combative with him, and my dad usually has to get involved, which is what I prefer. But it always ends badly for me. I have to work shifts in our family store. I have friends in town. Mira is one of my closest ones. We like to pull pranks together and hang out. We're both lovers of animals, and I'm generally a very nosy person, so I know a lot of things about people in town. Basically, you could say that I guess I'm a good kid deep down. I'm just learning how to deal with my mom's death and this need for my dad's attention as he puts all of it into his work. And I have an asshole brother who isn't always an asshole. And I like reading, but like I said, animals are my favorite, and sarcasm is pretty much my basic language skill.
Awesome.
There we go.
Thank you.
Yep.
So you guys would probably, anybody who's been in town for a little bit would definitely know her,
Yes.
even just by reputation, and by extension, I guess Mira. So that's good. I'm glad you attached your saddle to that pony chaos, which will bring up Dustin.
Boy. All right. So my character is Spooner Strongneck. Carry on the tradition. Spooner was born into a small, like, orc group, and nobody knew who his father was. And pretty much as soon as he was born, he was shunned by everybody in the camp, minus his mother. The reason is that Spooner thinks he's a half-orc, but he's really an Aasimar that looks like a half-orc, but the only difference is that he has a glossy texture to his skin. So he definitely stands out in a crowd, especially amongst half-orcs. And his mom did her best to, make him feel loved and all that. And at 2 years old, him and his mother were kicked out of the camp. And so his mother decided that maybe city life would be better for Spooner. So she took him to Lovoxith, where she, very shortly after arriving there, developed a sickness and passed away. But growing up, Spooner had a cookbook that was given to him by his mother, and inside the cookbook was the name Gary. And on the front of the cookbook there is a little indentation where there used to be a spoon. And he always figured that maybe that was tied to why he was named Spooner. But in the very back of the cookbook, on the very last page, there was an inscription that was written in a language that he was unfamiliar with, that once he was older, he was able to get it translated, and it was Dwarvish. And in the back, it said, "Never violate a woman, nor harm a child. Do not lie, cheat, or steal. These are for lesser men. Protect the weak against evil strong, and never allow thoughts of gain to lead you in the pursuit of evil." And Spooner took that to heart. After his mother had passed away, he grew up in an orphanage, and upon never getting adopted because of his looks, he basically stayed at the orphanage even as an adult, where he became the cook. And he would go around Lovoxith doing odd end jobs for people that would tolerate him. And he would basically turn around and dump whatever money that he earned back into the orphanage. And that is pretty much Spooner's story.
Okay. I like it. So, what important note for people saying they may know Spooner? If you look at the map, he's in the top right corner, 20. It's the slums. it's not listed on the legend, but the slums are called Pasho. It's but the people who live there nickname it the Yield because they're stuck in basically a rut. They've had to give up their own citizenship really just to stay here. It's like, you know, the people who come into the town as refugees or people who've lost their homes, they can live here for free. The city provides food for this area, but the people who are living there are not allowed to enter the town unless they have work permits or passes. So it's kind of a big deal for him to be able to leave and go do things. One thing you guys would all know that if there's any real big construction or something happens, there's a fire or a building explodes, the recalibrators are sent out to fix these things. But lately in town, the recalibrators have been not seen as much, and the restorative song has not been heard filling the streets, fixing. They basically sing damage to life. So there's not a lot of craftsmen in this town that know how to build and fix stuff because they've been relying on magic to do it. So again, what Spooner adds to the town is kind of a lost trade. Is Travis here?
Yep.
No, it's like, is he here? I was going to give him a chance to talk.
I'm currently still driving, but I can try to talk.
I gave him the brief synopsis of your character.
Excellent. I did post it in the RP chat. Just a real handsome goblin. So
it is a handsome. I have your picture on here, so it is a handsome goblin. Or you didn't build your character, but yes, it's a very handsome goblin, and Nate loves the throwback.
Good. I'm glad. Okay, perfect. I'm glad he recognized it. So, but if anybody has any questions or wants to get to know my character, enjoy the 5-page synopsis.
I want his voice. What's his voice?
It's in development. Thank you.
Okay.
Development. Thank you for your questions.
Grimm's character was pretty unknown. He's a 15-year-old boy. I think he put that in the Lovoxith RP chat. It's very not many people know much about him. He seems like a eager upstart, but I mean, if you probably would have seen his character and not looked twice. He's just like a young, sprightly kid running around town. I'm sure he'll be able to give more about that. I don't want to speak for him on that. But yeah, all right. So right now I have down Mira and Scarlet knowing each other. I have Theo and Lucian probably being friends, knowing each other.
We would all know Tom's character, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm not writing that down. Everybody knows Tom.
Oh, okay. Yep. That's not okay.
I would say since I deal a lot with the poor or just trying to do things around the city, I would probably know Spooner pretty well.
Spooner's probably well known for his looks.
Right, but I feel like I would be on good terms with Spooner.
Yeah. Spooner's a happy-go-lucky guy. How many half-orcs do you see that smile like he does?
Friends with Spooner.
I did post the longer version of my backstory in the RP channel, in case anybody wants to look at it, and you can let me know. I just don't want to talk too much right now.
No, you're good. I understand. I know you have the 2 thing. I do need that. Anything you guys want put in the city for your backstory, let me know, because that's what I'm going to be doing over the next week. So that's neat. I'm sorry, that's Dustin.
I don't know if you wanted to.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you wanted to put the church for Sun.
Yep.
I don't. How do you pronounce it?
Sarenrae. But there's all the. And you guys would know this too, all the religions are worshipped here. There was a time when they embraced every religion, but after Shrek's gift, which I'll get into next week, all evil religions or quote-unquote questionable religions are no longer allowed to be openly or are no longer allowed to be worshipped. So there are various churches around the town, maybe not in the slums, but there is a church for each deity. And while the old gods from the other campaign are in this, it's not the same. It's like the multiverse. So their stories are fables and legends. The events of Asha have not happened here. This is a completely separate deal.
Gotcha.
I would also say I guess I'm probably more than just passing familiar with Tom's character because he said that he was interested in learning the different religions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume I would probably have seen him there at the church.
Okay, so Ace and Dustin probably friends, and if you guys are gonna have these relationships, give me a story. You don't have to do it right now. Just between now and when we first start, just something that you guys would have as a memory that I could go off of. Who else would know who? I mean, everybody knows Tom, so everybody may know Dustin or at least heard of his character.
You said Kildrick's character was a new blacksmith in town, right?
He's been here for a while, but he doesn't. I don't know he didn't say what part of town he's in yet. We haven't really established parts of town yet. I just finished the map for the most part today.
But
yeah,
he was a blacksmith.
He is
yes.
a blacksmith, yes.
Okay, then I would probably know him. We wouldn't maybe be buddy-buddy, but I would have had associations with him.
Okay, with Travis's guy, which is Sir Thalion. Okay, I'll put that down for him as well.
If Nate's character and Kai's character are off in the library section, I mean, I would venture in there, so I probably would know of them. Like, we probably aren't, like, good friends or anything, but I'd probably know of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I would assume as much.
A lot of you would know Lauren's character, if not by reputation, just for her dad. So the town's guard is broken up into two factions. There's the day. I don't have a name for the day watch yet, but the night watch are followers of Thalon. And Lauren's dad is the coordinator for both groups. So he basically knows where all the guards are supposed to be in this entire town at all times. He sets the schedule for both groups. So you guys would all probably know him just by name and reputation. So Lauren is another character person you guys would probably all know.
Okay.
So Travis is associated with, how's it pronounced? Takira?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And so Lauren, you saying you would be friends with Kai and Nate?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure they probably would be like, oh God, here's Scarlet. But, like, I mean, I would probably think fondly of those two. They work in a library. I like to read.
Well, I mean, I would wonder how your approach would be to Lucian, because I don't think Lucian would be against, because he grew up feeling already so much of an outcast, like having his adopted parents. So him getting a chance to be like himself and know people, I'm sure he would want to know you.
And I'm sure
So-
that Theo wouldn't be against talking with somebody closer to his age than a lot of people he knows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like an asshole to people I'm friends with. Just mainly to my brother, my dad, people I want to irritate.
Yeah, so then we're all probably on good terms.
Yeah.
Everyone else in the city is just collateral damage when it comes to our
Yeah.
friends.
As long as you guys don't mess with our writing, I don't think we care too much.
Yeah, she would never mess up like a library or books or anything like that. That's something she likes, so she wouldn't fuck with that. But other things that, big things, like I feel like Hugo wouldn't really give too much of a shit about a library. I feel like because he's an asshole, he's not an asshole. He's like, that's not what's coordinating and making the town run and like messing up everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Theo does write some plays for like some like local theaters or something. So that is a thing as well. I think I didn't mention that.
That's fine. So you wouldn't know this because you weren't in the last campaign, but at the bottom of the map, 16, that's Generica. That's the island of the arts. That's pretty much where the high society goes. It's where I have the plays listed. And most of the plays in this town are situations that the gods ran into in the other campaign. But any of the real high society cultural art stuff is going to be on the south side of the map. The more south you go on the map, the higher class things are. Basically, the poor section is in the northeast part of the corner of the town. But yeah, I would think that, and Travis could pipe in, I think Travis's character would know Dustin pretty well too, being a blacksmith, and probably Lucian.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Also, you guys would probably know Dustin as his nickname around town is T.
Just like the letter T?
Teaspoon.
Teaspoon.
Oh. Good lord.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tom,
Mr. T.
are you friends with anybody, or are you just the celebrity of celebrities?
No, I do friends with people. I mean, he gets along with everybody. I mean, he's really a genial kid, and people just think he's weird because he sometimes talks to himself, and only his close friends would know why he talks to himself.
So, who would be your close friends then? Do you have anybody?
How old are Scarlett and them?
I'm 19.
That's how old
I'm
I am.
19 as well.
Yeah, so we
Yes,
probably
that's
all
how
know
old I
each
am.
other. You guys would probably know that I would tell you that the reason why I talk to myself is because the gods talk to me in my head.
All right, I can get that.
All right.
Would you know Nate's
would you-
character, Siobhan? Sorry.
Would I? Probably not. I think a lot of people would probably recognize my character because she, does frequent the town, but she's pretty offstandish and doesn't try to, like, socialize with people for the most part. But she'd be very recognizable, especially. I mean, at 75 years old, she sounds really old, but that's like she's like the equivalent of being like 20 something. So she's been around forever, and people probably know her, but she doesn't really try to interact very much if she doesn't have to.
Okay.
She's very, she doesn't have time for people. Ow.
All right. Like I said, we don't have to figure this all out tonight. We have next week. But there's the map for the most part. If I have the districts fleshed out for the most part, but mainly all the places, the way the cities comprises, they were all separate towns that were integrated into Lovoxith. So it started out in 31. It was a small community that survived the test of time, and then decided that the only way to spread was to gain favor with nearby towns and integrate. And that's essentially how this town is built. Every section, if it's blocked off, was once its own town that eventually came over. And I have all that lore, which we'll go over next week. But if people have questions before then, that's fine. But it's extensive. But that's the premise of this town. It is just one big amalgamation of communities that became a town. Some happy about it, some not happy about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and there's three hierarchies to law. So number 3 is the king. He deals with all civil issues, and then that's the newest appointed position that wasn't always there. And then in number 6 you have the the judicial district, which there's 2 sections. The merchants deal with all merchant law. They have their own little building. And then there's the council, which is one head from every community is there, and they decide city law. So it's intricate. And then what other big thing is there? The prison. This is my favorite thing about it. The prison is number 2. The center building is what houses all the inmates, and then it's protected by four elements. There's a lake of molten lava above to the north. It's sand, but it's essentially if people touch it, it sends gale winds shredding through anybody that touches the desert. Obviously, there's water there too that they'd have to swim through. That's filled with aquatic life, and then there's a huge impassable mountain that it's built on as well. That's called number 1 is the Grim, or Grim's Eye. That's the name of the mountain on the side of the thing. So there is one prison, and to get out of there is damn near impossible. But people try. So yeah, I mean it's got a lot of stuff going on here. So
Yeah.
if you have
I'm
any,
excited.
if you have
I
any,
can't wait.
yeah, thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. But next Wednesday, we'll go through that, and people can figure out where they live and all that stuff if they haven't already. So, thank you. This is a good start.
Absolutely.
And
It's
then
fantastic seeing you guys again.
Nate's gonna post the moon. The town also has 4 events that happen with the seasons, and Nate has that information that's coordinated with the moon. So Nate will, and that's Lumos's. So Lumos, the god of the moon and all that stuff. Nate's got 4 things that happen with each type of moon. For this, is it season based? Right, that's what we went with.
Yeah, I think we went with just season based, but then there's other stuff that we're potentially working on, but we don't know how it'll work out.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things going on. Lauren's got special stuff she can tell you guys about with number 12 is Nadia's Wood, or Nadia Wood. Ari's got his own forge here called Ari's Breath. And Thalen has the guard, I think, and Kildrick has a statue to himself, which he's got to give me the deets on that.
It's big.
Yeah, and then Chaos has the recalibrators. So, all right.
I feel left out.
Well, you have the most detrimental one. Your people tried to summon you back into existence and destroy the town trying to do it. So that's number 4. If you're looking at the map, number 4 is the town that tried to summon Shrek, and obviously didn't go so well.
So what those giant ass boys?
What?
And that
Shrek would enjoy.
Yeah, well, those koi are the only things that can satiate Grim.
those giant ass koi.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's criticize the map next week. It's 10 after 10.
I'm not criticizing.
let's go.
There was a reason they were that big.
Build up your criticisms until then.
I mean, obviously they're leviathans.
And Town 5 has no laws in it. They pay. They pay a tribute. Yeah.
No, Beth, we're gonna go. Or,
they pay a tribute to the city to have that right, that they are self-governed. But
That's where I'm from.
Yep. All right.
Wait a minute, that's not quite the same thing, though.
What's up?
Self-governed and no laws are not the same thing.
Well,
that is true.
They have They have like what are those? What are they called? Guidelines.
They're an independent nation.
They're guidelines.
They're more like
they're ran by the whole thing is broken up by 4 different races, death, and they're basically at a turf war with each other. So I have all that written down, but yeah. So
Ooh.
Yeah.
Really fast.
Want to be in a turf war?
What's
really
up?
fast. What's 29?
Right, that's the one I keep coming back to.
Where's
I
the
like
pretty flowers.
Yeah, I love the flowers. What's 29?
29
And the little
is
tiny mountain.
29 is 1 second.
What the fuck is it?
29 is the luxurious resort. It's an all incorporating. It's got a water park. It's got skiing. You can go camping. It holds events. It's the most expensive resort in town.
Where
There's
is
a-
it?
Right south of the like right center of the map. So
29.
yeah,
Pretty
it's
flat.
it's a resort. I'll try to put in whatever I could think would be in a town, so it's got a its own little resort. It's huge.
Oh, I see. The number is super tiny.
Yeah, all of them are tiny. You got to scroll in real big. So yes, that's a resort. Don't worry.
It's still funny that you thought that this wasn't good enough to be a
I
town.
still don't think it is. It's not a town. It's a city, but that's fine.
Oh, no. A city, my bad. Even more so because it's huge.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, like I said, it's like one of those. It's one of those big towns that are surrounded by are surrounding a
Yeah.
castle. That's what I think it is.
1, 2.
It's like fantasy New York.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go to the marshmallow trees of number 19.
19. So that is the. You would be very familiar with that area, Siobhan. That is the Gruzmy Sky. It's the mountain home to trolls and other creatures. It's a no-no place.
But they have marshmallow trees.
Yeah, they have marshmallow trees. It's cold there. So
That's okay.
yeah.
I'm a rock. I don't care.
The rock.
You're rock-ish. You're not rock total.
Rock monster.
Fight me.
Yeah, fight me, bitch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you want to see how much of a rock I'm not?
I'll rock your world.
Yeah. As Grim said, the place follows a code. There's no laws. That place follows a code. But yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot going on in the city.
It's like street rules. Okay.
Yeah, street rules. Exactly. Guidelines.
So like,
So,
if you leak it, you keep it.
Yeah. Well, whatever they decide.
Fantastic.
There is not one race that's prevalent over the other. Just so you guys know, there's not like humans are the best or anything like that.
All right, thank God there's no racism.
Yeah, no, there's racism.
Yeah,
Don't
I
say that. No,
I said I was like,
Expectations, Nate.
no. This town is very big on all races have a place, all religions have a place, except for the evil ones, and all evil people have a place. It's in judgmental. So,
All
right.
I'm excited.
yeah,
I'm looking forward to starting the cult of Shrek.
it's already started.
Yeah.
Good, I'm gonna join.
Okay,
I'm
well,
shocked.
I can't wait to see you re-roll a new character. It'd be like your vampire in Tom's game.
Basket cry because his last remaining family is brutally murdered for having a god.
Yeah. Well,
Basket, your character will have PTSD.
Yeah, probably.
all right.
And itchy ass.